Welcome back to End Times Prophecy News. Hi, my name is Brother Jim, reporting here from Red State Watcher and various news sources about news that lines up with Bible prophecy. Trump supporter has debate with NAACP president on Anderson Cooper 360, and it's shocking. Jeffrey Lord debated Cornell Brooks on Anderson Cooper 360. He stated that dividing causes by race in Congress is wrong and asked if Cornell Brooks would be okay with a congressional white caucus, to which Brooks replied no. You need to understand that Cornell Brooks is a leftist, race-baiting politician with it, and he's highly educated. I believe he's a Jesuit as well. He's very dangerous. He is always promoting racism. He's part of the Black Lives Matter, stands up for them. So let's take a listen here.
Did that exchange at all raise your eyebrows at all?
No, and I'll tell you why, and I have a lot of respect for Cornell. We disagree, though, on this. I mean, I have to say, first of all, the network that she works for, that April Ryan works for, advertises itself as the only African-American owned radio station. In other words, it's all about being African-American. So, in that context, he asked the question. This is the problem here. I mean, I used to think the Congressional Black Caucus, when it was first formed, was a good thing. I've changed my mind on this. I don't think there should be any caucuses in the House of Representatives that are divided by race. I mean, heaven forbid, if David Duke got elected and wanted to form a congressional white caucus, that would just be appalling. Appalling. Okay. This is where we get into a problem, and it's got to stop.
Cornell?
Sir?
One of the best defenses of people who lose is a smile. They smile while they're losing. It's the mind psych.
Jeffrey, I'm looking for a word here beyond. It's completely preposterous to compare the Klan to the Congressional Black Caucus.
I'm sure you are looking for words.
Dividing by race.
It's not a matter of dividing by race. It is a matter of affirming racial justice issues.
White caucus.
Beg your pardon?
You would be okay with a congressional white caucus? Really?
I didn't say that. What I would be comfortable with
there you
is
go.
a caucus aligned around issues, a caucus aligned around advancing the concerns of groups that are frequently locked out of the process. That's how the Congressional Black Caucus came into being.
Face it, Cornell, you're just getting owned. You wouldn't be okay with a congressional white caucus, and you know it, because you're a black race baiter.
And frankly, sir, you should apologize for even putting the Klan and the Congressional Black Caucus in the same sentence.
No, don't go there. That's not what I said.
It's not a matter of going there, it's a matter of having heard that.
What I'm saying to you is there's no room in the United States Congress for caucuses that are divided by race, no matter the race.
But sir,
there's no place for it.
Sir, let's get back to what the president said. The president didn't seem to recognize the oldest such caucus on the Hill. The president then speaks to a veteran journalist and suggests that she schedule a meeting. I'm not entirely sure if he is aware that the network that she represents is African American owned, and that, frankly, is beside the point.
Yes, it is.
Then why are you bringing it up, Cornell?
Her job is not to act as an emissary or messenger or scheduler for the president of the United States.
Jeffrey, the only thing she has in common with people in the Congressional Black Caucus is that she's black. So, I mean, it's essentially, isn't it saying, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, he's asking one of the few African-American people in the room if she knows the people on the Congressional Black Caucus and can therefore she make a call and set up a meeting. It just seemed odd,
this is exactly where we get off track all the time. I mean, she is a reporter. She is a journalist, period, full stop.
So it's her job to call up the Congressional Black Caucus and set up a meeting for the President of the United States?
No, of course it isn't. But it's her network's job not to advertise itself as African-American owned.
What does that have to do with the President of the United States and what he said?
How many
Shut up, Anderson Cooper. You know you're getting owned. That's why you're trying to talk over him.
Ultimate distraction.
It is total distraction, Jeffrey.
Come on. who she works
This is what they always do. They laugh at you when they know they're getting owned, and the facts are right there.
for says nothing. I should say who she works for does not in any way undercut the fact that she is a journalist.
She's a good journalist.
She's a good
Jeffrey,
journalist, and therefore
Jeffrey,
she should be
that's it.
afforded the respect
Jeffrey,
of
the
a
president
journalist.
didn't know what the CBC was. Do you think he knew what network April Ryan works for?
I honestly don't know. I mean, at this point, he's doubtless getting to know the White House press corps. I don't know.
Owned again. Anderson Cooper is owned, and Cornell Brooks is owned. Trump. Hold on a second. Let me fix this. Trump preparing to take crazy action against immigrants. According to the Associated Press, President Trump is preparing to deploy 100,000 National Guard troops to round up illegal immigrants. Woo, yeah. Trump administration considers mobilizing as many as 100,000 National Guard troops to round up unauthorized immigrants. Now, this is coming from a leftist Associated Press, which tells a lot of straight up true news, but you never know. You never know. We're going to move over here to mrctv.org. Very conservative site. Morning Joe, don't mess with the press. Check this one out.
Editorial for the Wall Street Journal did not. He's trying to delegitimize the press. The press has risen up over the past couple of weeks, and as I always say, don't fight the press. The press always wins.
Oh, you hear that?
Ask Richard Nixon. The press. He's trying to delegitimize the press. The press has risen up over the past couple of weeks, and as I always say, don't fight the press. The press always wins.
The press has risen up over the last couple of weeks. Don't fight the press. The press always wins. Really? I didn't know I voted for you, Morning Joe, liar. And furthermore, the press has come up all of a sudden? Really? You mean they've gone down? The complete opposite. 14% approval rating while Donald Trump has 55%? Dream on, Joe. You're such a stupid liar.
Ask Richard Nixon. The press always wins. There is no doubt the Wall Street Journal has gone from being the most hostile conservative voice towards Donald Trump during the campaign to certainly now seeming to bend over backwards to actually parrot much of what the administration puts.
You can see how disgruntled.
Certainly now.
Watch this.
Seeming to bend over backwards to actually.
You can see how disgruntled she is about this because they're all losing. And they're trying to take on the Wall Street Journal, which gives pretty fair reports, good reports. Honest, true. But they're of course they're painting it bad because they don't want truth. They want to slam Donald Trump.
Parrot much of what the administration puts out. But David, were you concerned yesterday? The lead editorial for the Wall Street Journal did not even mention any concern.
And you notice right here, Wall Street Journal is telling us agencies withholding intelligence from the president. They're just telling the truth. Oh, so see what they're going to do here?
Concerns about improper contacts that Michael Flynn had with Russia. But instead, their editorial focused solely on leaks. It was as if Donald Trump had written the editorial himself.
Joe, it was an editorial. It's not the editorial position that I would have written. I don't agree with it. I think to argue that this is about leaks as opposed to the behavior of our public officials is wrong, but it's an editorial.
But David Ignatius, look at the headline today. Again, this is sort of what we do. We look at media and we pound the New York Times all the time. Instead of talking about Flynn, yesterday...
We pound the New York Times all the time. Really? This is the Wall Street Journal. And you keep pounding the Wall Street Journal, who's exposing you and your lies. And who's winning? Wall Street Journal. They're going up. You're going down.
Their lead editorial, Wall Street Journal, the editorial page that I've read my entire life. Yesterday, they say nothing to see here with Flynn. Forget the improper ties. Forget the lying. Forget everything else. We ought to look at the leaks.
Nice, Media Research Center. Nice. A Christian florist loses in state court and sets her sights on SCOTUS. Neil Gorsuch to fix it. Local florist and small business owner Baronelle Stutzman suffered a setback Thursday when the Washington Supreme Court ruled against her for refusing to create the flower arrangements for a gay couple's wedding, accusing the 72-year-old Christian of sex orientation discrimination. Now, Stutzman is appealing her case to the Supreme Court. You may recall Stutzman's story from previous reports over the past couple of years. Currently the owner of Arlene's Flowers in Richland, Washington, Stutzman was asked to provide the flowers for the same-sex wedding ceremony of one of her longtime customers, Rob Ingersoll. Ingersoll had been one of her favorite customers and a longtime friend for nearly a decade, and she happily provided him with flower services throughout the years. When he asked her to supply arrangements for his wedding, however, she declined, explaining that while she was more than happy to sell him flowers as an individual, her Christian faith prevented her from participating in a ceremony that violated her beliefs. Now, remember, they're friends for many years, but one of them is a sodomite. And what does the sodomite do? Sues her and makes a federal case out of it, literally. She then referred him to a few other local florists who would be willing to provide the flowers. That decision quickly landed her in court in not one, but two separate cases where she found herself targeted by both the state government and the ACLU. Now, thanks to the state Supreme Court decision, Stutzman will be forced to use her life savings and put her business in jeopardy to pay penalties and attorney fees for allegedly discriminating against gays. Allegedly, Stutzman is being represented by the Alliance Defending Freedom, a nonprofit legal group that specializes in cases of religious freedom that needs to be shut down. Baronelle's story demonstrates a troubling trend in government agencies and officials that have grown increasingly hostile to religious freedom of Christians, but not Muslims, particularly the freedom of people who believe that marriage is the union of one man and one woman, ADF said in a statement following the court decision Thursday. The group also challenged President Donald Trump to make good on his promise to protect people who have been dragged into court simply for living their lives according to their faith. President Trump, who has promised to make religious liberty the first priority of his administration, has an opportunity to take a stand against the ongoing efforts to marginalize people of faith. Reports have surfaced suggesting that he is considering an executive order to protect religious freedom. The group said in its statement, it's going to happen, folks. Signing such an order would send a strong message throughout the country and that people like Baronelle deserve religious freedom too. Thank you for listening. Praise the Lord.